Hello and welcome back to this video, and what we are going to start here is with bulk uploads on using the general system. So in the manual entries we had the first video was how to create a product, so we're basically just going to replicate this version but on bulk uploads. Now the advantage of this is obviously you are not doing one product at a time and you can upload as many products as you can fit in the Excel sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the sideboard of the dashboard. You're going to go to products, extras, upload products. Then at the top right hand corner you're going to see download template. So what you can do is you're just going to download the templates for the product. And as you can see, if you just click the top right hand corner here and then double click here, that will then readjust all the columns to the right size. So what you can now see is when you download the product sheet, it does give you a test template showing you what you need to fill in. So we're going to work from left to right on this Excel sheet. Now, it's not essential every column is filled in, but there are some basic columns, which as and when I go along, I'll highlight in yellow, which should be filled in. So we're going to start on the left here. Now, what I've done is I've simply downloaded the products that we did on the manual uploads, just to show you, just to fill in the information a bit quicker. So I'll be switching between them to copy and paste. So what we're going to do is going to start with the SKU, which is basically just a unique reference number associated with that product. And then what that does is that will be the identifier product in the system, which you relate to your Shopify or your Amazon or your eBay. So then we're going to move on to the product name. Now, depending on how much information you want to specify, I generally just keep the product name and the description the same, but that's up to you. So at the same time, I'll just complete column B and E because I treat that as the same. Then you have column C and D, EAN barcode and UPC barcode. Now essentially the EAN barcode and UPC, whether you put the barcode in either or, it will still work, the system will still work. So I'm just going to copy what we've got on here. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to highlight columns that need to be completed as I go along. Just going to graph this up just so people can see a bit clear. Then you got to the discontinued. Now, discontinued is more for when you download all your products and you want to discontinue a majority and not just one. So simply you download the Excel sheet, you change discontinue from Y to from N to Y, and that would then, when you re-upload, discontinue X amount of lines. Then you have the column G, back orderable. So what this means is, say for example you run out of stock on your website and you want to carry on selling this stock, as you know it'll be coming in soon, you'll simply just turn this to Y, and essentially when an order comes in, it will just go into back order and it will wait for the stock to be stock to come in. And then when the stock does come in, what that will do will make it a first order in gets the first stock allocated to it. Then it comes down to commodity code and customer subscription and country of manufacture. So as you can see, we've got the commodity code, and then you got the customer subscription, which is carbonated soft drink. Copy and paste that here. It was made in the UK. So we're just going to complete that there. So these are extra columns that need to be completed as well. Then you have the categories, suppliers. So that's really essential on how much you want to categorize your products within our system. Whether you want to split it into, I don't know, if you obviously we're referencing giving soft drinks. So we could split it down into soft drinks, confectionery, toiletries, household. Then you've got supplier 1, supplier 2. These are the suppliers that supply these products. You can then enter these details in. So then you come to column M to O. So some products, whether it could be you need to log batch numbers from manufacturers, all you simply need to do is if you need to log batch numbers, you simply enter true. And if you want us to log the batch number on inbound, you would then repeat the same process and then repeat the same process for log batch on outbound. I'll just copy and paste that in here. So essentially, I'm just filling this in to show you what it is, but in all honesty, we do not need the batch numbers tracking on this product. What we need here, so because we're not doing that, we can just simply leave those 2 columns as false. And same again for P to R is the same process. If you need to log a serial number, that could be, you could be dealing electronics, which is where you tend to find serial numbers of products. You then complete has a serial number, log serial inbound, and log serial outbound. Then we get down to S, low stock alerts. So obviously the last thing you want is to run out of stock. What we recommend is, say on average you sell 100 items a week. That would be roughly 100 items a week. Would say over a course of 5 days, we'll say that's 20 products a day. And then from there, you would then say, right, okay, it takes me 2 days to get my stock back in. And if I'm selling an average of 20 a day, I'm going to put a minimum, a stock alert of 60, which gives me 1 day to order it, the second day, and then by the third day, it should be back in stock. Then you've got the product's height, weight, height, length, and depth. Now, as we're setting the product up as a unit, you're going to be set the product unit's weight. So obviously, as you can see, weight above is 0.1. That is, the weight is in kgs. So we'll say the can is 330 ml. We'll just do like for like. It would be 0.33, and that would mean 330 grams. Then we've got the product height. Height, length, and depth is all in centimeters. So we're just going to put 11, and obviously because this is circular, length and depth is the same. Then you've got the price and the cost price. So the price and the cost price needs to be entered if you are using the purchase order features, where you can then create purchase orders on the system, which then goes over to ASNs. Or if we're insuring your goods, you need to complete these details in as well. So we're just going to go off the sale price is 99p, and we'll call the cost price 60p. Okay, then you have column AA. Now, column AA is in regarding to pallet size. So, say for example, you could, in the instance, Coca-Cola you can get from UK stock, and you can also get from EU, and there are different quantities. So, for example, you would buy a case of Coca-Cola by a pallet from a UK supplier, it would be 2,880 units. So we'll set that up. Now, what you need to do is you set these pallet configurations up when you are when you set the system up, because what this does is the system then auto recognizes if there's 288 units on a pallet and an order comes through for 288 units, it will charge you for picking a pallet rather than charging you the unit picking fee by 2,880 units. So then obviously you have the UK EU suppliers, which you get 99 cases on a pallet. That'll be 2376. So then as you can see, what this does, it sets up multiple. Oh, 1 second. So then what this does, as you can see, it will register as a pallet pick when an order comes in. Then you have this part, which is really for us to fill in, but as we preset the system up, it will auto add up. Then you can enter in the handling time. So handling time really comes down to by days. So as I mentioned earlier, when setting your low stock alert, I mentioned there was 2 days handling time, so it made sense to order set this up. So what this does then, it will say, okay, on average it will take 2 days to come back in. Then you has an expiry date. Now, as I mentioned earlier, batch numbers and serial numbers, if you want this to be turned on, you simply put it as true. Now, as this is a soft drink, it will have a best before date. So I'm logging the expiry date. So this is just generally to log dates in general. So whether it's expiry date or best before date, it will be the same. So I'm just going to click yellow. So then we have packing instructions. Say if this is a unique product that you want to have, wrapped in bubble wrap, as you can see on the top, it says wrapped in bubble wrap, or you want it to be used Hive wrap, or any of the materials we specifically want to associate with that product, you can then add it on there. So that's another column that needs to be filled out. Then you have the best before warning period. So on this column, essentially, if you require to know how many days until this stock is out of date, you would then set this up as, I want to know 60 days before the stock goes past the expiry date or best before date. What that will then do is give you a notification from the system saying this stock has X amount of days left, which you can then plan to do something with. Then you have units per parcel. So as this will be a case of Coke, we're going to then put 24 in, both of these. What that would then do would associate the product with a case picking fee. Like I mentioned with the pallet size, it would associate with a pallet picking fee. And then that is the last information that needs to be completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this top line. I'm going to save the Excel. And we're just going to call it product demo upload. Okay, I'm going to go over here. We're just going to close these 2 down. Then, as I mentioned, you'll be back on the template where you downloaded. You're going to choose the file. I'm just going to find the file, which is product demo upload. You're going to open the file, and you're simply then going to click upload. That will obviously depend on how many lines you create. That will then take a while to set up. But if it's only 2 lines as it is there, it's fairly simultaneous to set up. Appreciate you watching this now, and I should carry on to the next video, which will lead into. See you then.